السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Grade 1s, كيف أصبحت? Alhamdulillah, I hope you're all well. Okay, remember to read your morning dua. I've read it in all the other videos. So I think from now on, I want you to try and read it by yourself, right? And in that way, we'll be able to save a little bit more time on the videos and we can practice on our work. Alright, so if you look in front of you, you'll see the board and it has Ta'awudh and Tasmiyah written as well as the 4 letters that we learned yesterday. Can you remember we started with the part 1 Quran and we are on lesson 2 on page 11, right? And I gave you the first line as your sabak. Okay, so if you look at the rest of the page, it's the same 4 letters that are there, but they're just mixing it up. And we turn over to the next page, it's also the same 4 letters that are there and it's all mixed up, creating a word out of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is, for today, I'm going to give you the entire page as sabak. And the reason for that is, by now you should be familiar with the letters Waw, Fa, Mim, and Ba. And then we're supposed to be familiar with the sound on top of it, okay? Because we started with it yesterday, and over the time that we've been learning the song of the alphabets, we've been saying A, E, U, B, B, Boo, T, T, Tu. Can you remember from the song? So in that way, you are already familiar with the sound of the letter, with the sound. Okay, so let's look at the board. We are going to recap on the 3 and the 4 letters that are in front of us. And we're going to remind us about the fatha. What is the fatha all about? Okay, so let's start with Ta'awudh and Tasmiyah first. Remember to always begin Quran by reading Ta'awudh and your Tasmiyah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. و م ب ف. Can you see I mixed it up compared to what it is written there? Here it's w, f, m, and b. Here it is w, m, b, and f. Okay. Now if you look at each of them have a line on the top. Can you remember what do we call the line that is placed on the top? We call it a fatha. What do we call it? A fatha. What sound does fatha make? Fatha makes an sound. What sound does a fatha make? An sound. Where does a fatha belong? Fatha is always on top of the letter. So if you look at the letter, on top of the letter. Now let's look into Ta'awudh and Tasmiyah. Can you count how many fathas are there? Remember, fathas are always on top of the letter. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so that is how you identify, that means you find all the fathas. When we learn the kasra and the dhamma and the sakin and the tashdid, we will go looking for them and identifying them in our ta'awudh and tasmiyah. So for now, we are only focusing on the fatha, which makes the sound. Let's look at the book, the kitab, the Quran. And we're going to try and read a few words from here. We know this is wa, and if you put them together, you're not going to say it as wa. That is wrong because you are pulling. Remember, in Quran, there are certain words that you're not supposed to pull. And then there are certain words that you will pull. So all these in front are letters that are not supposed to get pulled. So you're going to read it as wa instead of wa. Next one, wafa instead of wafa. Wa-ma. Wa-ba. Let's look at this line. Ma. Ma. Ma-ba. Ma-wa. What difference can you see from these letters? These letters? And then this one here. This one here. This one here. Can you find a bit of a difference? Can you say that these letters are not stuck together? Whereas these ones, the f, the m, and the b are stuck together. Okay, now in Arabic, we have a single letter. And when we start joining them into words, we create a sentence. And if I look at this here, this is a sentence. For example, the alif, the ain, the waw, the dal. Ba, alif, lam, ha. All those were once upon a time single alphabets. For example, they were alif, ain, waw, dal. But imagine if the entire Quran were to have each letter written on its own. Imagine how big the Quran would have had to be. So for that reason, we start joining them. So we create a word by sticking them together. So instead of having a word that was as long as the one that you see in, it's going to be shorter, where we take the ain, we cut the head off from the body. That means there's the body. We're taking the body away. We're leaving the head. We're joining it to the waw. And then we're putting the dal next to it. Can you see that? Where we're taking off the bottom part of the ain. So the same way with the letter, let's write the word bismi. Now the word bismi, it's a ba, a sin, and a mim. If I need to create a word out of it, I'm going to join it by cutting the ba in half, by cutting the sin in half and joining it to the mim. And that is how it's going to be written. Ba, sin, and mim. There we go. Can you see that? This is the long way and this is the short way. So this is what we're going to be learning in Quran as well. With the fatha sound, we are learning how to identify letters that are now going to be joined together. Okay, so I want you to practice on today's page, sabak, with the sounds of wa, fa, ma, and ba, and take the entire page as your sabak. At the bottom of the page, write today's date, which is 7/05. Okay, this is your lesson for today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.